You're listening to the ColbyCheeZe Gaming Podcast, your source for League of Legends news, updates, and discussions. Today is podcast number 23. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to ColbyCheeZe for another episode of the ColbyCheeZe Gaming Podcast. And I know it's been a little bit since our last one, but have no fear. I'll try to make this episode as exciting as possible. There is a whole lot to cover, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Esports in the LoL community is really picking up. There's so many different tournaments going on. We've got the Sound Blaster Nations Cup, which has been taking place over the last couple weeks, as well as the new Rampage King of the Hill series from wellplay.tv. It's super exciting to watch, and we're getting some really cool stuff from mobiFire.com and all kinds of things like that. But I just want to go over a quick recap of how some of the tournament games have been playing out so far up until now. So we had the Intel Extreme Masters New York qualifier event, which determined who's going to go to the Comic-Con event. And the biggest upset of that one was the fact that CLG did not even qualify to make it to the event. And we had two qualifiers, which are RS and Rez, when they did really well in this event. And it's just two extra teams that a lot of people probably have not heard of up until now, or just less well known. And they did extremely well in this tournament. We had a lot of cool meta type situations pop up from RS doing their pirate in the bottom lane, throwing up, big AD team with a Katarina in the middle lane. And so just throwing people off of their game in this one, and RS came out on top. So I'm really excited to see them playing a lot more tournaments. They did extremely well in the Rampage King of the Hill series as well. They went up first of all against Complexity and just took that one by storm, no problem for them. And so I'm curious how CLG is going to do against them next week whenever they go up again for the King of the Hill series. Can they dethrone RS from their seat or not? I think the cool thing about RS is that these guys, they really play to win, and they don't care about the standard metas and stuff like that. So as well as the Sound Blaster Nations Cup, we've had several matches going on in that also. And so far it seems like USA and I think probably Germany are some of the top teams in that up until now. Also, Canada is pretty far up there. So those three teams, it's looking like these ones are going to be the countries that you're going to be keeping your eye out for the finalists. There still are several games to go. However, for the most part, it looks like those are going to be the ones that are going to be in the finals. And the cool thing about this tournament, and I really like it, is the fact that they are able to bring all these different players from these countries together, and they're not necessarily the teams that you would normally see. So it's just like putting the NBA All-Stars together and stuff like that. You're not used to working as a team, so these guys have to figure out a way to come together and put their roles together and make themselves really work out. So speaking about tournament play, there's actually only been one Pentakill in the history of actual competitive tournaments for League of Legends, and I got to witness that this past couple of weeks, and that was on Reginald, who got a Pentakill on Gragas, which was sick. So if you guys want to check that out, you can definitely do so. I put up a little short clip on my channel, and you can also see the full game if you like. It's a USA versus Canada match, and that's going to be up. I'll put those links in the description as well. And some other League of Legends news other than these tournaments that have been taking place, there was a bit of kind of a annoyance, I guess, with a lot of users who have Macs, since they shut down the Mac client for League of Legends, and you can no longer play League of Legends if you have a Mac. And I think a lot of people didn't realize this, but they're actually not planning on completely shutting out the Mac users altogether. What they did was they had a third party actually go in and create this Mac client, but what they're going to do instead is create their own Mac client. That way they don't have to rely on this third party to do it, and they can have all of their own quality standards up to par with the client and whatnot. So fear not, it probably will take some time. However, there will eventually be a Mac-based client that Riot is going to release for you guys. I wanted to also talk about the latest patch notes and the Riven Champion and just some of the changes that they've done recently, since I've had a little bit of time to play around with it since the actual patch did come out. So Riven was released, and I said in my actual video, my first impressions of her, which you can check out if you'd like, but I said she was a super fun champion, one of the most fun champions I've had to play in a while. Now, unfortunately, Riven is actually very underpowered. She lacks a lot of skill sets or maybe some numbers or tweaks that she's going to need to actually be viable. So, you know, if you're planning on picking up Riven, she's fun to play, but I definitely would not do so in a ranked environment because you're going to lower your chances of winning significantly. Another thing is you could argue that she's not fun because she's hard to win with and it's not fun to lose. But anyways, I really love her skill set, and I think that she could be more fun if she was just tweaked slightly or buffed a little bit. It could be a lot of things, and that would require a lot of discussion. If you needed a few, it's just that she doesn't really deliver properly. It's really hard to get all of her damage in the way you want. I guess you have to build her full damage to really take advantage of the skill set she has. But at the same time, in order to get off a full combo and do it properly, you kind of need to be stuck inside of a fight for a while. And the problem with this is that she needs to be tankier to do so. But when you build tanky, she just doesn't do any damage. So she can't be like Talon where she runs in and bursts everybody down really quickly and then gets out. No, she can't do that. She's like one of those champions that her skill set, the type of abilities she has are kind of low range and requires you to be boom, 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 just bruising people up. Unfortunately, the way they did her with her low base amounts and high scaling, she just does not function in that way. Another big change, and to a lot of Brazilians' dismay, was the nerfs to Mordekaiser. So no longer does he become an impenetrable wall fortress in the lane. He doesn't get as much shield whenever he attacks the minions. He gets a little bit as he attacks champions, but he can't just go stand in the middle of a creep wave and have full shield. Now you can actually harass him down in the lane, and it can really disrupt his early game, which he already had sort of a problem with anyways. But now you will no longer see a Mordekaiser every single game that he's not banned in the top lane anyways, due to the fact that those changes are a pretty big hit to him. Mordekaiser will still remain to be a really cool champion in my eyes. However, so in his honor, I did find a cool cosplay that someone did. This is the most ridiculously awesome thing I've seen in a while. Check this one out. They did tone down Orianna as well. Now, she wasn't hit super hard. Basically what they did was they increased the mana cost of her command attack so she cannot just continually harass with that ball in the laning phase without running out of mana. They also reduced the actual cast range on it so that you have a little bit more leeway when you're going against her. You can actually go up and attack a minion without that being able to shoot all the way across the lane and hit you. And then they reduced her basic attack range as well, so she cannot easily harass you from such a great distance. And I think there's some good changes. They didn't really hurt her damage. She can still hit you really hard, but it just gives you that easier laning presence, and she can't just sit there behind towers and zone you out so easily. So that's some good stuff. I like those changes to Orianna, and I can actually deal with her with some more champions in the lane. There was quite a few Shaco bug fixes that they put in place with some of his Jack-in-the-Box AI. They did state that there's going to be a lot more fixes on the way, but they just wanted to go ahead and throw these out there. I still think Shaco is kind of a weak champion unless played just very well. So unless you're just a Shaco, you're just amazing at Shaco, I probably wouldn't play him too much in ranked play. He's still a fun champion to play and can be very annoying and do extremely well late game, especially if he gets a couple of kills. However, for the most part, Shaco tends to make your team more of a 5v4 situation than anything. They made some changes to Shen. I don't really feel like they fixed a lot of his issues. He became a little bit stronger in the laning phase, and he can beat people down in the laning phase quite well if he's, aggressive enough. And so he's strong early on, but again, he still just falls off extremely bad late game, and he just becomes very useless in my opinion. And if you try to build him AP, like they increased his AP ratios, but if you try and build him AP and then he just taunts everybody and he's just gonna die faster, what's the usefulness in that? So anyhow, if you want to beat someone in the lane phase, top lane, early game, then you can play Shen. Other than that, he's not really useful. So I don't think that that's going to make us see a big influxes of Shen players out there. Tarek was also changed slightly, and they pretty much just remade his ultimate. I don't know how I feel about this. It's an okay ulti. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but what it does now is instead of just a thing that drains your mana and gives you a buff, it now slams the ground and essentially gives you a second shatter as far as like the way the damage works, and it will give you a couple seconds of that actual buff. I think the cooldown is kind of long on it, to be perfectly honest. It's like 100 seconds at level 1, so that seems really silly to me because previously you can just activate your ultimate for that little bit of a buff, then turn it back off and wait a little bit, and then you can have it again. So I don't know. I kind of liked the old Tarek ulti, but it wasn't fun. I mean, Tarek has been said just to be one of the most boring supports to play, so I can understand why they did that. One cool thing that they did, though, is that they made the stun duration always 1.5 seconds, instead of between 1 and 2, depending on how far away they are. So you can literally just walk up to somebody in their face and hit them with that stun, doing extra damage, whether instead of being far away, you do less damage when you're far away. So now it's actually more beneficial for you to just get up into someone's face, hit them with a dazzle, and now also if you bust your shatter, you no longer lose that armor that you would have normally lost by shattering. Now you actually keep it, so it's more beneficial for you to jump on to the middle of a fight and get tanky and just throw out all your spells, and you don't have to really think as much. So they kind of dumbed Tarek down a little bit and added some difference to him. So I still think he's pretty boring to play for the most part, and I don't know. I think it's not like a huge change, but it's just something small to think about. In honor of the Riven patch, and also as a shout out to a good friend of mine, Sarah, I wanted to also link to a really cool speed paint that she did for the Riven champion. I thought this actually looked great, so I wanted to just shout it out and show it to you guys on here. If you want to check out Sarah's channel, definitely do so. It's in the description. She does a lot of cool speed paint videos and has her own little DeviantArt. You probably also have seen her on the Summoner Showcase if you actually watch that as well. There was actually one issue that I found with the UI in the newest patch. So before, you can scale your UI in your options and it would change different things, but in this one, for some reason, they really screwed up the scaling on the actual tab screen whenever you look at the scores, and that was a big annoyance for a lot of people. So I just wanted to show everybody how to actually fix that and make it a little bit more normalized the way you're used to. So I found a post on Reddit, and it basically explains everything for you, so I don't need to actually go through it. All you have to do is find your League of Legends directory and add a little bit of a line to your file, and you'll be able to fix it there. So hopefully this link will help you guys out who have been having that issue. It won't take you too long to fix it either. So just check out this Reddit link, and there's the answer for you. I wanted to give another shout out to a guy I've been talking to who has a channel mostly about StarCraft 2, but now he's been switching over and playing a ton of League of Legends, and that's always really cool. Love to see YouTubers out there who play League of Legends and get to meet up with him. But he actually posted up a really hilarious video where a Lux in his game got a Quadra kill with one laser. It was freaking crazy. So definitely check out that video and take a look at this guy's channel. He'll be putting up a lot of clips and stuff from his games. He's not like some high super pro elo player, but he'll be putting up some fun clips from his games, and you can check those out on his channel as well. His name's Joshy, and some of you may have heard of him if you actually play StarCraft 2 as well. But anyways, there you go. Anyways, it's about that time. I decided last week or last podcast, I should say, that I would do some question time for you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and continue on and do that again and answer some of you guys' questions. So I've been writing some of these down, and the first one is from a dude named Jelly Trollhead, and he says, "Hey, Colby, saw one of your podcasts where you talked about Diablo 3, and I was wondering if you'll actually play it. And I was wondering if you thought about playing with some subscribers and friends." Hey, I'll tell you what, man. I definitely am going to be playing Diablo 3. I don't know why anyone would think I would not. This is literally one of the most anticipated games for me at this point in time. And sure, if any of my subs or friends are going to be playing that game, then hell yeah, I'm going to be playing it with you guys. So I don't really care. I'm just, whoever wants to play with me, I'm going to be killing lots of dudes. I'm going to be playing my wizard and shooting stuff with lasers, pew pew. All right. Baseball Dude 1998 was like, "Hey, Colby, I watched your gaming podcast. I have a question. Who's your favorite champ to play?" Obviously, blah, blah, blah. It could be DPS, tank, etc. It'd be awesome if you could feature this in your next podcast. Okay, well, seriously, my favorite champion to play, it kind of changes like every week or so. I'll pick up a champion like, man, this is super fun. So lately, I've actually been playing a ton of Galio because I love to be able to pew and just, you know, basically farm up and push towers really quickly. And I've also been picking up Talon because Talon is very strong, I found, and I don't really like my old build on him that I had in the first impressions. Essentially, if you just go for Bloodthirster and then Infinity Edge and just build up tons of DPS items and go in straight damage mode, you can clear creep waves quickly, you'll have the most farm, and you'll just melt people in fights. Sure, you're squishy, but that's how he is. It's kind of like a call. You jump in, kill everybody, and then disappear out of there like the night. So that's kind of how I've been doing it lately. Another guy called The Skills says, I love your stream, I love your videos, and I love your commentaries, which leads me to my question. How did you get into casting and commentating? I used to do StarCraft commentaries, and I'd love to do the same for League of Legends. Keep up the good work. All right, well, I guess if you guys want to know, how did I get into commentating? It's a weird story, actually. I originally decided I would never play video games again at one point, and I didn't play any video games for like 7 or 8 months. And then all of a sudden, StarCraft 2 is coming around, and I was like, you know what? I really loved StarCraft 1 back in like middle school and kind of high school area. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try this out. So it was in beta, and I picked it up. And I played the beta a little bit. And I was like, man, this is super fun. And I watched some commentaries from Husky StarCraft. And it's like, oh my God, this dude makes videos and he's having fun. It's like, man, I should make some videos. So I was like, I don't want to be like him though. I want to try and do my own thing. So I started making custom map guides. And I was like, I just want to make guides. I want to teach people how to beat these maps. And then whenever the game actually went into, it wasn't in beta anymore and we're waiting for the game to come out, I was like, well, I think I'm going to pick up League of Legends. And I haven't played League of Legends in several months. I want to check it out. And, I started playing Ezreal, and I made my first guide for Ezreal, and I don't know, I just started making guides, and that's pretty much how I started. I just wanted to make a bunch of guides for League of Legends. I never actually planned on doing any commentary, but then the Four-Court Jester one day asked me, hey man, we need some dude to do some commentating for some NESL matches. The rest is history. I've been doing commentating since then, but I still enjoy doing my guides and stuff like that. I think that's my main goal, is to always be able to do different videos and guides, and commentary, even though I love doing it, it's still kind of a secondary thing for me. I want to actually show people how to play the game, so if I can add that into my commentary, that's always my main goal. But anyways, moving on to the next question, we had a dude named Uruk, or I think is how you say it, and it says, hey, thanks. Hey, Colby, I've been watching your videos ever since I started playing LoL, and found them very helpful, so thank you. And he also goes on to say, I have a problem though. As a progress in skill and level, I find it increasingly irritating when people are caught in bad and hopeless positions to be ganked, and then I blame it on myself, or when no one cares about other game objectives except trying to get the highest kill score. I would like to play in a fixed team environment, and I think this would help most of my problems. What are your thoughts on the subject? Okay, so playing in a team could potentially help you out as long as your teammates are good enough to not blame everyone else for their problems. Essentially, this just comes with skill, and it depends on the individual player. I mean, some people just don't know how to accept that they made a mistake. The people that do understand that are the ones who are going to do the best in this game. People that analyze what they did wrong and try and fix it in the future, that's how you get better. The reason I was so good at this game and RTS games in general is because I always go back and I think, okay, whenever I die, or whenever my teammate dies, or even if I do well, like, why did that happen? You just ask yourself, why did X event happen, and how can I repeat that in the future, or how can I prevent that in the future? So if you get ganked, how can you prevent that? Not, oh, well, if I have better teammates. No, how can you do it on your own? Like, you're the only person that you can change in this game, and that's what you need to focus on. So moving on, another guy named Kamisad asked me, channel advice, hey Colby, just wanted to let you know that I appreciate all the time you put into your videos. Okay, well that's not all that I wanted to let you know. So like, I've been subbed to you since maybe 1,000 subs or so, and I was wondering, how do you get subs so quickly? I know you're gonna say, oh, just make content people like, and it seems like I got that part down. You may or may not have seen my Blitzstar video because I know you on Reddit, but did you do anything to get your videos out there? And if you can help me out, blah, blah. Okay, so basically, a lot of people actually ask me these type of questions like, hey, can you help me out and get more subs and stuff like that? And how did I get so many subs? So My best advice, sure, is you just need to make regular content, and yeah, obviously make content that people enjoy, but just promote it to everybody. I mean, whenever I make videos, I try and let everybody know about it. I show it to people on Reddit, and I go on forums, and I just tell all my friends, and I just hope for the best. I mean, if people don't like your videos, they're not going to push the like button, they're not going to share it with their friends. That's just the way it is. I mean, there's probably a lot of other ways, but I'm not like a YouTube genius or anything. I just make videos that I enjoy, and I hope that other people enjoy the same things that I like, and apparently it's worked up until now. Another guy called Brotas101 is asking me, hey, why don't you do any more Dragon's Nest Let's Plays? Okay, so I started doing a bunch of Let's Plays on Dragon's Nest and some other games, and I haven't done any since. And the reason for that is because I just really haven't been playing any other games. I'll start playing a game for a little bit, and if I get bored of it, then I just stop. That's kind of the reason I don't do Minecraft anymore. I played it, I got bored of it, and I stopped. League of Legends, I have not been bored of it. I've been playing it for over a year, and it just continues to be engaging to me, and I'll keep playing it until I get bored. That's just the way it is. Now, as far as Let's Plays are concerned, if I pick up a game, I'll definitely try and do some Let's Play videos for you guys. Like, I've been playing Dead Island, but unfortunately picked it up on the PS3 to play with a friend of mine, and I don't have a DVR for it yet. Otherwise, I would bring you some videos for that. So, anyways, that's just kind of my stance on Let's Plays, is I'll put them out there when I actually play a game, but if I get bored of a game, I'm not going to keep playing it just for the videos. So that's kind of how that goes. All right, and the last thing that I want to answer is just a generic name person. I'm not even going to name a name here because I get these all the time, but hey, ColbyCheeZe, can you make a guide on X champion? Okay. The only time I actually make guides on champions is if I really enjoy that champion and I play them a whole lot and I feel like I get a good understanding of that champion, because unlike my first impression videos, I really want to make a high quality guide. I don't want to tell people how to play a champion if I don't myself know how to play that champion very well. So I can't just say, okay, this week I'm going to make a guide on this champion. No. I actually have to myself feel like I can do really well on that champion and I can impart that knowledge to someone else before I will let myself make a guide on champion. I've actually scrapped a lot of guides because I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm good enough on this champion to show other people how to play it. So there's your answer on that one. So that's pretty much it for League of Legends stuff. I did have some other things that I wanted to just throw out there really quick for those of you who care about them, and that's some information on Diablo 3. Now that the actual Friends and Family beta is out, we can see a bunch of cool footage from people who have been playing the game, and I wanted to say that Diablo 3 looks amazing. I cannot wait to play it. I was actually playing another game called Path of Exile, which is a similar genre to Diablo, and I can honestly say that Diablo 3 interests me so much more after playing this game. So if you were to take a look, I mean, you've got in Diablo 3 so many different sets of abilities and different ways to tweak those abilities. You can actually go onto the website right now. They've got this Diablo 3 skill calculator, and you can set up your different skill trees and what exact customizations that you want to add to your abilities. And I thought that was freaking awesome. So you can go in there, and obviously you can't try everything out yet, but it just gives you a nice taste of the game, and whichever champion or class that you're going to decide to play, you get to play around with at least those abilities and just kind of see how you would like to customize your champion up through like level 30 and whatnot. Another thing is that in comparison to a game like Path of Exile and watching Diablo 3 and seeing all the different features of it, is that they just add all these little small things that really add up. You don't really even think about it, but it just makes your experience so much more fun. Small things like you don't have to click on as much stuff to get around. I mean, you just walk over gold, it automatically picks that up. There's these really cool emotes. You can do dances and things like that in Diablo 3. The graphics and effects and physics are all very clean. They're really nice, and just, you know, small things. Even like the story elements that, like, you walk through a dungeon and you click on a journal. That journal will actually read to you after you close the journal, and you can go around and kill monsters. So you don't have to sit there and read through the book. And that way you can get that story element while still playing through the game. Because I know in a lot of games they have this giant wall of text, and although some of the times I'm like, man, I'd like to read all this, but I'm having too much fun playing the game and I don't want to have to change that. So it's really cool, just something like that. It's so small, but it's a big change for me. And for those of you who play Minecraft, you can actually go play the new adventure update now. So Minecraft 1.8 is out. I was thinking about picking up some Minecraft again, but the thing about it is that the full set of features is not in for their adventure update. They've added tons of stuff. You know, you can get fence gates, they've got towns, endermen, you can do criticals by jumping and attacking, you can do run jumps, all kinds of stuff. And so it looks interesting and whatnot, but it's just that one of the reasons I stopped playing Minecraft is that they just keep adding all this new stuff in, and I don't like to just keep starting over and redoing everything. I want to play the game once he feels like it's done, and so I'm just gonna wait. And when Minecraft feels like it's more finished and it's not in, you know, quote, beta anymore, then I'll probably pick it up and maybe play through it. So I want to give it a little bit more time. I think the game is super fun. It's just that I've already played it enough and don't really think I have a lot to gain from playing it until everything is fully implemented. For example, they've got like this experience bar thing in the game right now. However, it doesn't even do anything because those features are not implemented. So I'll wait. And for those of you that are my Minecraft fans and would like to see more videos, don't worry, eventually we'll get to it. But as I just stated earlier in my question and answer, I only do Let's Plays if I'm playing a game, and I'm obviously not playing it. So there you go. That's really it for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed the podcast and got something out of it. So until, I don't know, I say a couple days, whenever I have my champion guide and Summoner Academy out for you, I'll see you then. But be sure to help me out by pushing that thumbs up button and putting this on your favorites. It really helps out a whole lot, guys, and I definitely appreciate it. This is ColbyCheeZe. Peace out.